The alarm blared across Earth Orbital Station 7, turning heads and halting conversations. Emergency protocols activated as a ship, clearly damaged and barely functioning, limped toward the docking bay. Unidentified vessel approaching, the station AI announced. Hull integrity compromised. Life support failing. Captain Lee stood at the command center, watching as scans revealed the ship's origins. "It's Sori," he said, surprise evident in his voice. The Sori Confederation rarely ventured near Earth space. Their people had maintained a cool distance since first contact decades ago. "They're requesting emergency medical assistance," Communications Officer Day reported. Priority 1. Inside the battered ship, Ambassador Tejo clutched his daughter to his chest. 6-year-old Gia had grown paler during their desperate journey. Her skin, normally a healthy blue-gray, had faded to an ashen white. The small ridges along her temples pulsed weakly with diminishing bioluminescence. "Stay with me, little star," Tejo whispered, using the nickname that always made her smile. But Gia didn't smile now. Her breathing came in short, labored gasps. The ship shuddered as docking clamps engaged. Tejo had made it, despite the attack that had nearly destroyed his vessel, despite the political risk of coming to Earth, despite everything. He only hoped it wasn't too late. The airlock hissed open. A team of station security stood ready, weapons not drawn but clearly visible. Behind them waited a medical team with a hover stretcher. "I am Ambassador Tejo of the Sori High Council," he announced, stepping forward with Gia in his arms. "My daughter needs medical help immediately." Dr. Kim Hyun pushed through the security team. At 35, she had already become one of Earth's leading xenobiologists. Her research on cross-species medical treatments had earned her respect and controversy throughout the scientific community. "I'll take her," Dr. Hyun said, reaching for the child. Tejo hesitated. His people rarely allowed outsiders to touch their children. But he saw only professional concern in the human doctor's eyes, not the curiosity or disgust many species showed toward Sori physiology. "She has cellular decay syndrome," Tejo explained as he carefully placed Gia on the stretcher. "Our medical technology can't stop it." Dr. Hyun nodded, already scanning the child with her medical devices. "How long has she been symptomatic?" 42 days, Tejo replied. "Our doctors tried everything. They said," his voice broke, "they said she has less than a week left." The doctor's fingers moved quickly over her tablet. "Get her to the Xenom unit immediately," she ordered her team. As they rushed away with Gia, Dr. Hyun turned to Tejo. "Ambassador, I need to know exactly what treatments your doctors have already tried." Captain Lee stepped forward. "Doctor, security protocols require." "This child is dying," Dr. Hyun cut him off. "Whatever protocols you're thinking of can wait until I've stabilized my patient." In the medical bay, Dr. Hyun worked quickly. Earth's medical facilities weren't the most advanced in the galaxy. Many species had technology centuries beyond human development. But humans had taken a different path in medicine, one that focused on adaptation rather than perfection. "Her cells aren't regenerating properly," Dr. Hyun explained to her team. "The Sori have eliminated most genetic diseases through prevention, but that means they've never developed treatments for conditions like this." Tejo stood against the wall, watching anxiously as the humans worked. He had spent his career advocating for distance from Earth. Humans were unpredictable, emotional, sometimes dangerous. But they were also resourceful in ways other species weren't. They found solutions where others saw only problems. "Why come to us?" asked Dr. Min, one of Hyun's assistants. "The Cetari have better medical technology." "The Cetari wouldn't help," Tejo replied quietly. "Political complications. And the Trazine. They recommended euthanasia. They said it would be kinder." Dr. Hyun looked up from her work. "That's not happening on my watch." Hours passed as the medical team stabilized Gia. They couldn't cure her yet, but they could slow the progression of her disease. Dr. Hyun finally stepped away from the bed where Gia now rested, connected to machines that monitored her unusual physiology. "Ambassador, I need to be honest with you," she said. "I've never treated this exact condition before, but I believe we have options." Tahoe looked at his daughter. Her color had improved slightly, and her breathing seemed less labored. "What kind of options?" "Gene therapy. It's considered primitive by galactic standards. Most advanced species eliminated genetic diseases centuries ago, so they never developed the treatments we had to create. Humans had to learn how to fix broken genes rather than prevent them from breaking in the first place." Hope flickered in Tahoe's eyes. "Will it work?" "I don't know," Dr. Hyun admitted, "but I'm willing to try if you are." Station Security Chief Jun entered the medical bay, his expression stern. "Ambassador, we need to discuss your arrival. Our scans show your ship sustained weapons damage. Are you bringing conflict to Earth space?" Tahoe straightened. "I came alone for medical help. Nothing more." "Yet someone clearly tried to stop you," Jun pressed. "Chief," Dr. Hyun interrupted, "my patient needs rest, and so does her father. Your questions can wait until morning." Jun frowned but nodded. "First thing tomorrow, Ambassador." He left, but the tension remained. Later that night, as Jia slept under Dr. Hyun's care, Tahoe stood by the observation window, looking out at Earth below. The blue planet that his people had viewed with such wariness for so long now represented his daughter's only hope. Dr. Hyun joined him by the window. "She's stable for now. Tomorrow we'll begin developing a treatment plan." Tahoe turned to her, his expression solemn. "Doctor, you must understand. If you save my daughter, the Sori Confederation will be in your debt. I'll give you anything you want. Technology, resources, diplomatic concessions, anything." Dr. Hyun studied him carefully. "Why is one child worth so much?" Tahoe looked back at his sleeping daughter. "Because she is my child," he said simply. Then, after a pause, "and because she carries more than just my genetic legacy. But that is a conversation for another time, when we can be certain of who might be listening." Dr. Hyun nodded slowly, sensing there was much more to this story than a father's desperate love for his daughter. "Get some rest, Ambassador. Tomorrow we fight for Joe's life." Security Director Park stood in his office, studying the holographic displays that surrounded him. Each showed different angles of Ambassador Tahoe, meeting with Dr. Hyun, sitting by his daughter's bedside, speaking with station officials. For 3 days, Park had watched the Sori ambassador carefully, and something didn't add up. "Play the arrival footage again," Park instructed the station's eye. The main screen flickered to show Tahoe's damaged ship limping into the docking bay. Park froze the image and zoomed in on the hull damage. "Those aren't random hits," he muttered. "That's targeted weapons fire from multiple vessels." He tapped a command into his console. "Computer, match damage pattern against known weapon signatures." The computer worked silently for a moment. "Match found. 87% probability. Sori Defense Force, standard cruiser weapons." Park's eyes narrowed. The ambassador hadn't just fled danger. He'd been attacked by his own people. Across the station in the medical bay, Dr. Hyun adjusted the settings on Jia's treatment pod. The young Sori girl floated in a clear suspension fluid, her eyes closed peacefully. The fluid glowed faintly with the nanomedicines working to repair her damaged cells. "Her condition has stabilized," Dr. Hyun explained to Tahoe, who hadn't left the medical bay for more than a few minutes at a time. "The gene therapy is showing promising results." Tahoe placed his hand against the glass of the pod. "How long until we know if it's working?" "Another day, maybe 2. Dr. Hyun studied her patient's readings. "The nanomedicines are rewriting the damaged sections of her genetic code, but it's delicate work." The door to the medical bay slid open, and Security Director Park entered with 2 officers behind him. "Ambassador Tahoe," Park said formally, "I need to speak with you immediately." Dr. Hyun stepped between them. "My patient needs a calm environment, Director. Whatever this is about." "It's about the fact that Ambassador Tahoe is a fugitive," Park interrupted. and that he's withholding critical information about why he's really here. Tahoe's expression didn't change, but his posture stiffened. My daughter's health is my only concern. Then perhaps you can explain why 3 Sori military vessels have taken positions just beyond our solar system's outer boundary, Park countered. They're staying outside our jurisdiction, but they're clearly waiting for something or someone. Dr. Hyun looked at Tahoe with surprise. Is this true? The ambassador hesitated, then sighed. May we speak privately, Doctor? What I must tell you cannot be widely known. Park stepped forward. Anything you say to Dr. Hyun is protected by doctor-patient confidentiality. Dr. Hyun finished firmly. Director, please wait outside. I'll speak with you after I've heard the ambassador out. Park looked like he wanted to object, but finally nodded. 5 minutes, Doctor. Then I need answers. He and his officers left the room. When they were alone, Tahoe moved closer to his daughter's pod. 1 week ago, the political unity faction staged a coup in our government. They've been gaining power for years, pushing for more aggressive policies against other species. He touched the pod gently. They began eliminating anyone connected to the old leadership, including families. You were targeted because of your political position, Dr. Hyun asked. Not just that. Tahoe turned to her, his expression grave. Do you know much about Sori biology, Doctor? Some. Your species has a form of genetic memory, passed down through maternal lines. Tahoe nodded. My wife was a direct descendant of the great mediator Lena, who negotiated the peace that unified our 5 worlds. The memories of those negotiations, the compromises, the understanding reached between formerly warring factions, are stored in the genetic code passed to Ja. Dr. Hyun's eyes widened as she understood. The Unity faction wants to eliminate those memories. They want to rewrite our history, Tahoe confirmed. To make our people believe that strength and dominance, not compromise and respect, created our civilization. Ja is one of the last carriers of the true memories. Outside in the corridor, Park wasn't waiting patiently. He had accessed the station's emergency monitoring systems and was listening to every word. His face grew increasingly troubled as he heard Tahoe's explanation. Back in the medical bay, Dr. Hyun was processing this new information. So the ships outside our solar system are here to ensure I don't escape with Jia, Tahoe said grimly. If they take her, they'll either extract the genetic memories for study, then destroy them, or simply let her condition take its course. That's why you came to Earth, Dr. Hyun realized. Not just for our medical technology, but because you knew we'd have no political stake in Sori internal affairs. Tahoe nodded. I meant what I said before. I'll give you anything you want if you save my daughter. But now you understand. Her survival means more than just one child's life. She carries memories critical to our civilization's future, memories that could prevent our people from starting a war that would devastate our sector of the galaxy. The door slid open as Park re-entered. I've heard enough. Ambassador, you've brought Earth into your people's civil conflict without our consent. Director, Dr. Hyun began. This goes beyond the hospital now, Doctor. Park's voice was firm but not unkind. The Admiral needs to be briefed immediately. Tahoe faced Park directly. I understand your concern, Director, but my daughter's condition is genuine, and the threat to her life is real. I had nowhere else to turn. Park studied the ambassador for a long moment. I believe you, but that doesn't change the fact that 3 Sori warships are sitting on our doorstep. Dr. Hyun checked Jia's vital signs on her tablet. I won't stop treatment. Whatever political complications exist, my patient's welfare comes first. No one's suggesting we abandon the child, Park assured her, but we need to develop a security strategy. Fast. He turned to Tahoe. Ambassador, I need everything you know about those ships, their commanders, and what actions they might take. As they spoke, an alert sounded from Dr. Gun's tablet. She looked down at it with concern, then moved quickly to Joe's pod. What's wrong? Tahoe asked, fear evident in his voice. Her body is fighting the treatment, Dr. Hyun explained, adjusting controls rapidly. It's a common reaction, but we need to modify the approach. She looked up at Taho. I need access to more complete SORI medical records than what you provided. Detailed genetic mapping, immune response patterns, everything. Taho hesitated. Such information is highly restricted. To share it with non-SORI could save your daughter's life, Dr. Hyun finished, and preserve the memories you're trying to protect. The ambassador closed his eyes briefly, torn between his people's traditions and his daughter's survival. I'll provide whatever you need, he finally said. Park watched this exchange with calculating eyes. Ambassador, I think it's time we had a more detailed conversation about exactly what resources you have available and what the Unity faction is capable of. He gestured toward the door. My office would be more appropriate for that discussion. As Taho prepared to leave with Park, he paused beside Dr. Hyun. Whatever happens politically, he said quietly, please remember that to me. She is simply my daughter first. The memories she carries are precious to our civilization, but she is precious to me. Dr. Hyun nodded. I understand, Ambassador. I'll do everything I can for her. After they left, Dr. Hyun turned back to her patient. The girl's readings had stabilized again, but the treatment challenges were mounting. She would need to develop a completely new approach, one that had never been tried before. We'll find a way, she promised the sleeping child. No matter what agenda brought you here, you deserve a chance to live. Outside the medical bay, Park walked alongside Taho, his mind racing with the security implications. A civil conflict among the SORI could destabilize the entire sector. And now Earth was caught in the middle, all because of one desperate father and his genetically unique daughter. Dr. Hyun stared at the medical scans with growing concern. Jill's condition had stabilized briefly, but now her cells were deteriorating again. The standard gene therapy wasn't working fast enough. The girl had 3 days left, at most. She needed help, the kind that wouldn't come from conventional thinking. Station, connect me to Earth Medical Command, she said to the AI. Minutes later, Dr. Hyun faced Admiral Su on the secure channel. I need special clearance to bring 3 specific doctors to the station immediately. The Admiral frowned. The SORI situation is already complicated enough, Doctor. Adding more personnel requires significant. With respect, Admiral, a child will die without their expertise, Dr. Hyun interrupted. And based on what Director Park has discovered, much more than one life is at stake. The Admiral studied her for a moment. Who do you need? Dr. Jin Woo from Seoul Medical Center. He pioneered gene therapies before most species considered them viable. Professor Minho, the medical historian from Tokyo University. And Dr. Yuna, the genetic disorders specialist from Singapore Bioinstitute. An old man who hasn't practiced in 15 years, a historian, and a doctor who works only with human patients, the Admiral summarized. This is your emergency team. Yes, Dr. Hyun said firmly, because they think differently than everyone else. 12 hours later, Dr. Jin Woo shuffled into the medical bay. At 87, he moved slowly, but his eyes remained sharp. He went straight to Joe's pod, ignoring protocols and introductions. Fascinating structure, he murmured, examining the SORI child. The cellular regeneration pathways are similar to those I studied in the Chernobyl survivors. Professor Minho arrived next, a quiet woman with a photographic memory for medical treatments throughout human history. She carried no equipment, only an ancient paper notebook. Dr. Yuna completed the team, bringing cases of specialized equipment. Though she had never treated an alien patient, she had solved genetic puzzles that had baffled specialists for decades. Ambassador Taho watched with uncertainty as the humans gathered around his daughter. These are your specialists. They're exactly who John needs, Dr. Hyun assured him. Security Director Park stood near the door, still uncomfortable with the entire situation. The SORI vessels haven't moved, but they've begun scanning our communications. Whatever you're planning, do it quickly. Dr. Jin settled into a chair beside Jiz's pod, his aged hands moving with surprising skill across the medical interface. Modern doctors rely too much on automated diagnostics, he said. Some patterns can only be seen by eyes that have witnessed failure as well as success. The sorry medical records show they've tried to fix the genetic damage directly, Dr. Hyun explained. But the decay spreads faster than their repairs can work. Professor Minho flipped through her notebook. In 1986, after the Pripyat disaster, Soviet doctors faced something similar. Radiation victims whose cellular repair mechanisms were overwhelmed. Dr. Yumha nodded. And in the 2030s, we saw comparable patterns in children with rapid degeneration syndrome. Modern techniques failed because they were too targeted, Dr. Jin finished. Sometimes precision is the enemy of healing. The team worked through the night, reviewing sorry medical approaches and comparing them to human medical history. While the alien doctors had tried to repair the damaged genes with surgical precision, they had missed something humans had learned through centuries of dealing with radiation, disease, and genetic disorders. It's like trying to replace every damaged brick in a wall, Dr. Jin explained to Tahoe as morning approached. Your doctors have excellent tools for replacing each brick perfectly. But there are too many damaged bricks, and the wall keeps crumbling faster than they can work. What's the alternative? Tahoe asked. Professor Minho smiled. Sometimes you need scaffolding around the entire wall while repairs happen. The old, inelegant human approach. Director Park, who had been listening quietly, stepped forward. Explain in practical terms what you're proposing. Dr. Hyun pulled up a holographic model of Jiz's cellular structure. Instead of targeting the damaged genes directly, we'll introduce a temporary secondary system, a genetic scaffold, that supports cell function while the body's natural repair mechanisms catch up. It's messy by sorry standards, Dr. Yunha added, but humans learned to be messy healers because we had to be. Our own genetic code isn't as elegant as most spacefaring species. Dr. Jin nodded. When you can't replace every brick perfectly, you shore up the entire structure so it doesn't collapse while you work. Tahoe looked confused. Why wouldn't our doctors try this approach? Because it would never occur to them, Professor Minho explained gently. Advanced species developed perfect genetic engineering before they faced serious genetic diseases. They never needed temporary, imperfect solutions. Humans, on the other hand, Dr. Hyun said, spent centuries developing treatments before we could cure. We learned to stabilize, adapt, and support failing systems because we had no choice. Dr. Jin carefully programmed a new treatment sequence. This approach was obsolete before your people ever encountered humans, Ambassador. No sorry doctor would think to research medical techniques that predated their contact with Earth. Director Park watched with growing interest. Are you saying the most advanced medical minds in the galaxy overlooked a solution because it was too primitive? Not primitive, Dr. Yuna corrected. Different. Human medicine developed along a unique evolutionary path. We had to learn to crawl before we could walk. As the team prepared the new treatment, Dr. Hyun explained the process to Tahoe. We'll introduce modified stem cells that will create temporary support structures around Jiz's damaged cells. This buys time for her natural healing to catch up. It's not elegant, but will it save her? Tahoe interrupted. The four doctors exchanged glances. We believe so, Dr. Hyun said. But there's something you should know. This procedure will place her in a healing coma for approximately 3 days. During that time, her vital signs will appear extremely weak, nearly undetectable with standard sorry medical equipment. Tahoe's eyes widened as he understood the implication. If the Unity faction forces their way onto this station, they might believe she's already dying or dead. Director Park finished, a new calculation forming in his mind. That could be tactically useful information. Dr. Jin carefully loaded the prepared treatment into the pod's delivery system. We're ready to begin, Doctor. Dr. Hyun looked to Tahoe. Ambassador. Tahoe placed his hand against the pod once more. My little star, he whispered. Be strong. Then he turned to the human doctors. Proceed. The procedure began immediately. The pod's clear fluid turned cloudy as the new treatment dispersed throughout. Jia's vital signs fluctuated wildly at first, then began to stabilize at extremely low levels. Now we wait, Dr. Hyun said. Professor Minho gathered her notebook. I'll document everything. This could revolutionize cross-species medicine. Dr. Jin watched the readings with experienced eyes. The pattern looks promising, similar to cases I treated 60 years ago. Director Park pulled Dr. Hyun aside. Doctor, if this works, you've not only saved a child but possibly prevented a galactic conflict. I'm just doing my job, she replied. But I understand the implications. Later, as Taho sat alone with his daughter, Director Park met with the medical team in a secure room. I need to know exactly how this treatment will progress, he said, because 3 Sori warships are now demanding we turn over the ambassador and his daughter within 24 hours. Dr. Hyun met his gaze steadily. Then we need to be very careful about what information those ships receive about Jo's condition. The next day will determine not just her fate, but possibly Earth's position in interstellar politics for generations to come. A human solution to an alien problem, Director Park mused. Who would have thought our primitive medicine would become our strongest diplomatic tool? 3 days after the experimental treatment began, Jia opened her eyes. The cloudy fluid in her pot had cleared, and her skin had regained its healthy blue-gray color. The small ridges along her temples glowed with steady bioluminescence, a sign of strong health in Sori children. Dr. Hyun checked the readings and smiled. Her cellular regeneration is back to normal levels. The genetic scaffold worked perfectly. Taho pressed his hand against the pod, and for the first time since arriving at the station, tears formed in his eyes. My little star, he whispered, you're coming back to me. Dr. Jin, who had refused to leave until he saw the results, nodded with satisfaction. The body knows how to heal itself. Sometimes it just needs support while it remembers how. The medical team began the process of bringing Jia out of the pod. As the fluid drained, the child's eyes followed her father's movements. When the pod opened, Taho reached in and gently lifted his daughter, holding her close. Father, Jia said weakly, speaking for the first time since their arrival. Did we find the humans? Yes, little star, Taho replied, his voice thick with emotion. The humans saved you. Dr. Hyun approached with a small scanner. I need to check a few things, Jia. Is that okay? The girl nodded, studying the human doctor with curiosity rather than fear. Dr. Hyun ran the scanner over Jia's body, pausing when she reached the child's head. That's interesting, she murmured. What is it? Taho asked, immediately concerned. Brain activity is much higher than normal, even for recovery. There are patterns here I've never seen before. She looked at Taho. Is this related to the genetic memories you mentioned? Before Taho could answer, Director Park entered the medical bay with 2 security officers. His expression was grim. The Sori command ship is demanding immediate communication with the station, he announced. They know the child is recovering. Taho's arms tightened around Jia. How did they discover this? We don't know, Park admitted, but we need to decide how to respond. Admiral Su is holding them off for now, but we need information. He looked directly at Taho. It's time for complete honesty, Ambassador. Exactly what memories does your daughter carry, and why are they worth starting a war over? Taho sighed, then gently set Jia down on a medical bed. Dr. Hyun, could your team give my daughter something to eat? I need to speak with Director Park privately. Once Jia was being cared for by the medical team, Taho led Park to a quiet corner of the bay. The Unity faction tells our people that the Sori Confederation was formed through military strength, he began. That our 5 worlds united because the strongest planet conquered the others and forced peace upon them. But that's not what happened, Park guessed. No, the truth is in the genetic memories passed down through my wife's family line. 500 years ago, our worlds were on the brink of mutual destruction. The great mediator Lena brought all sides together and negotiated a peace based on mutual respect and shared prosperity. Park frowned. Why does the Unity faction want to hide this truth? Isn't a peaceful origin something to be proud of? Not for those who believe strength is the only virtue, Tahoe replied bitterly. The Unity faction wants to expand our territory aggressively, to conquer rather than cooperate with neighboring systems. They need our people to believe that force is our natural way. And these memories, they're actually stored in J's genetic code. Tahoe nodded. Not like data in a computer, more like impressions, feelings, knowledge that surfaces at certain times. When Jia reaches maturity, she will experience echoes of Lena's negotiations. She will know, without being told, how peace was truly achieved. Park paced slowly, processing this information. This is extremely valuable intelligence, Ambassador. Earth could use this knowledge to position itself as what? Dr. Hyun interrupted, having approached without either man noticing. As manipulators, exploiters of a child's genetic heritage. Park straightened. As strategic allies, Doctor. This information gives Earth significant diplomatic leverage. No, Dr. Hyun said firmly. It gives us a responsibility. She turned to Tahoe. Ambassador, with your permission, I'd like to announce our successful treatment to the galaxy's medical community. Immediately, both men stared at her in confusion. Doctor, we haven't decided how to handle the Sori warships yet, Park protested. Exactly, Dr. Hyun replied. And the longer we wait, the more this looks like Earth holding a diplomatic hostage. She faced Tahoe. Ambassador, if we announce that human medicine has successfully treated your daughter's condition, a condition that advanced species couldn't solve, we position Earth not as a military or political player, but as healers. The Unity faction won't care about medical achievements, Park argued. But other species will, Dr. Hyun countered. If we make this public, attacking Earth to get to Jia becomes an attack on a recognized medical sanctuary. She looked at Tahoe. Unless you object. Tahoe considered for a moment. My people have traditions of medical neutrality dating back centuries. Even the Unity faction would hesitate to violate such principles openly. This is too risky, Park insisted. We should negotiate from a position of strength, using what we know about the genetic memories as leverage. Jia's voice suddenly came from behind them. That's what they would do, she said quietly. The adults turned to see the child standing there, watching them with unnervingly adult eyes. Jia, you should be resting, Tahoe said gently. I heard you talking about the memories. She continued as if her father hadn't spoken. I don't understand all of them yet, but I know that using them as a weapon would make us the same as the bad people who chased us. Dr. Hyun knelt to the child's level. What do you mean, Jia? The memories are waking up early, Tahoe explained, his voice filled with wonder. The treatment must have triggered them somehow. Jia looked directly at Director Park. Lena didn't win because she was stronger. She won because she made everyone see they were the same inside. Park looked uncomfortable under the child's steady gaze. Military strategy requires. My daughter is right, Tahoe interrupted. And so is Dr. Hyun. He turned to the doctor. Make your announcement. Tell the galaxy what human medicine has accomplished. Before Park could protest further, Admiral Su's voice came over the station's communication system. Director Park, the Sori vessels are powering weapons. They're demanding we turn over the ambassador and his daughter immediately, or they will take action against the station. Dr. Hyun moved quickly to the communication panel. Admiral, this is Dr. Hyun. I need an emergency broadcast channel to the Interspecies Medical Council. Priority level Alpha. Doctor, this is a military situation, the Admiral began. It's about to become a medical breakthrough announcement instead. Dr. Hyun replied firmly. Trust me, Admiral. This is how we solve this without firing a shot. There was a pause, then, channel opening in 30 seconds. Doctor. Director Park looked furious but remained silent as Dr. Hyun prepared her announcement. Taeho put his arm around Jo's shoulders, drawing strength from his daughter's calm presence. Sometimes the simplest solutions are the ones most easily overlooked, Dr. Jin commented from where he sat watching the scene unfold. True in medicine, and apparently in diplomacy as well. As the channel opened and Dr. Hyun began her announcement to the galaxy, Ja looked up at her father and smiled. "The humans understand," she said softly, just like Lena knew they would someday. Dr. Hyun stood at the large viewing window of Earth Orbital Station 7, watching as the gleaming diplomatic fleet from the Sori Confederation moved into position. 6 months had passed since the crisis that had brought Ambassador Taeho and his daughter to Earth's doorstep. Now they were returning, not as desperate refugees, but as honored representatives of a changed government. "Nervous?" asked Director Park, joining her at the window. "A little," Dr. Hyun admitted. "Hard to believe how much has changed." Park nodded. "You took quite a risk with that broadcast. I was certain it would fail." "But it didn't," she replied simply. The medical announcement had spread across galactic communication channels within hours. Dr. Hyun's team had detailed how human medicine, considered primitive by most advanced species, had succeeded where cutting-edge alien techniques had failed. The revelation had immediate effects. The Unity faction ships had withdrawn within a day, unwilling to attack a station that had suddenly become the focus of interspecies medical attention. Within a week, the political winds on the Sori homeworlds had shifted. The genetic memories Jia carried were no longer a dangerous secret but celebrated knowledge. "The delegation is ready to dock," announced the Station I. High Ambassador Taeho requests that Dr. Hyun meet the party personally. Dr. Hyun straightened her formal medical uniform and headed to the docking bay. She had spoken with Taeho regularly over the past months, but this would be their first face-to-face meeting since he and Jia had returned home. The airlock doors opened, and Taeho stepped through, now dressed in the elaborate ceremonial robes of a high ambassador. Behind him came a delegation of Sori officials, and at his side walked Jia, looking healthy and strong, her eyes bright with excitement. "Dr. Hyun," Jia called out, breaking protocol to run forward and embrace the human doctor. "I've been practicing medicine." Dr. Hyun laughed and returned the hug. "Have you now? And what have you learned?" "Cell structures, DNA replication, and I can name all the bones in a human body," the child said proudly. Taeho approached more formally, but his eyes were warm. "Doctor, it is good to see you again. Your actions did more than save my daughter. They helped save our civilization." After the coup failed, Taeho explained, the Unity faction had lost support. The genetic memories carried by Jia and the few other surviving lineage bearers had been publicly accessed and recorded. The Sori people had reconnected with their true history of peaceful cooperation. "And now we come with an offer," Taeho continued as they walked toward the conference room. "The Confederation wishes to establish a permanent medical exchange program with Earth." Dr. Hyun looked surprised. "With Earth specifically? Not the Interspecies Medical Council." "The Council follows the lead of the most advanced species," Taeho explained. "They would never have discovered the solution that saved Jia. Human medicine took a different path, one we now recognize has unique value." Admiral Su was waiting in the conference room with Earth's diplomatic team. The negotiations were brief and productive. The Sori offered advanced medical technology and research access in exchange for Earth's unique medical approaches and training. "There is one more thing," Taeho added as the formal agreements were being prepared. "My daughter has a request." All eyes turned to Jia, who stepped forward with the confidence of someone much older. "I want to be the first Sori student at Earth's Medical Academy," she announced. "I want to learn to be a doctor like Dr. Hyun." Dr. Hyun smiled. "You're a bit young for medical school, Jia." "I can wait," the girl replied seriously. "But I want to study both approaches, the precise techniques of my people and the adaptable methods of humans. Together, they could help many more people." Admiral Su looked thoughtful. Actually, that gives me an idea. Dr. Hyun, would you be interested in heading a new research initiative? A program specifically designed to combine different species medical approaches. Interspecies integrative medicine. Professor Minho suggested from where she sat quietly taking notes. It has a nice ring to it. 1 year later, Dr. Hyun stood in the newly completed Interspecies Medical Center on Earth. The massive complex housed research facilities, teaching hospitals, and treatment centers designed to accommodate patients from dozens of species. The Centauri delegation has arrived, her assistant informed her. They're bringing 3 patients with conditions their doctors haven't been able to treat. Dr. Hyun nodded. Send them to Wing C. Dr. Jin is waiting for them. Dr. Jin, despite his advanced age, had refused to retire again. Too much interesting work to do, he had insisted. Now he led a team specializing in difficult cases from across the galaxy. Later that day, Dr. Hyun visited the student center where Jia, now an official junior scholar despite her young age, was helping a group of alien medical students understand human approaches to cellular regeneration. The key is supporting natural healing processes, Jia explained to the fascinated group. Sometimes the most elegant solution isn't the most direct one. Dr. Hyun watched with pride. The girl's unique perspective, part Sori precision, part human adaptability, and part ancient genetic wisdom, made her an exceptional teacher despite her youth. Quite a legacy from one desperate father's plea for help. Director Park said, joining Dr. Hyun as she observed the class. We gave him anything he wanted after all, she replied. Just not in the way anyone expected. Park smiled. I was wrong, you know, about using the situation for Earth's advantage. Were you? Dr. Hyun asked. Look around. Earth has become the center for medical innovation in the galaxy. Species that once dismissed us as primitive now send their best students here. I call that an advantage. But we earned it by helping, not exploiting, Park acknowledged. As they spoke, a notification appeared on Dr. Hyun's tablet. Another ship was approaching Earth, this one from a distant system that had never before made contact with humans. They say they've heard of our medical advances, Dr. Hyun read from the message. They have children suffering from a genetic condition their technology can't treat. And so it continues, Park said softly. Dr. Hyun nodded and headed toward the landing bay, ready to welcome another desperate family seeking help. This was Earth's new role in the galaxy, not as the strongest or the most advanced, but as healers who had learned, through necessity, to find hope in unexpected places. Behind her, Jia was telling her students about the ancient peace negotiator Lena, whose wisdom still lived in her genes. She always said that true strength comes not from power, but from helping others find their own way to heal. It was a lesson that had changed not just one child's fate, but the future of interspecies relations throughout the galaxy.